Hey guys, welcome to episode 10 of the Personal Project Podcast. This is a personal development podcast where I, Katyarrington, discuss my personal project, me. I'm a digital artist and a life coach. I struggled with anxiety, depression, insecurity, self-loathing, procrastination, and more. And this podcast is my weekly update on what I'm doing to create a better life for myself. Hey guys, I'm so excited to be talking to you right now. It's nearing the end of my Japan trip. I actually leave tomorrow. I'm really sad. I'm gonna be really sad to go. I'm excited to have my own place again and all that good stuff. But yeah, this has been an incredible trip. And I don't mean like I had a lot of fun. I did. But I mean, it's also been really, really mind opening for me, and I'll talk about that more in a bit. But while I've been gone, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's on the Discord server and being active even while I'm away. I've gotten to be able to go in and out kind of thing a little bit, but I've been trying to move while I'm here, and so just thanks for everyone who's still keeping the place active and fun, and all the people who's gonna join the activity once I get back. It's gonna be really fun. I'm so excited to see the final thing. But anyway, so from the title, you see that I'm about to talk to you about losing subscribers, and yeah. So I know that in my last few videos, I've gotten a net, I don't know what the word, gross or net, whatever, net negative on losing subscribers. So I actually don't know. Maybe I have gained the subscribers that I actually want, but I do see that I have negative because of the last few videos. And my initial reaction is fear. I'm sure I'm thinking things like, oh, something has gone wrong. I'm not doing something right. I'm not likable. I don't know. Whatever I'm putting out is no good. Yeah, so that's my initial default reaction is I get a little fear. And luckily, I've been doing the work, right? And so I don't get so scared. Right after, I'm able to think oh, wait a second. No, losing subscribers is actually a good thing. Just from everything that I've learned in business and about marketing and all that stuff, you really want to make sure that you're speaking to the right people. So as in if you're actually repelling certain people because of what you're talking about, then that's actually a good thing. I think a lot of us try really hard to be likable with everyone. And so when someone doesn't like us, it's oh shit, things have gone wrong. But I've been reading a lot and studying a lot, and I understand now that no, that really is part of the right direction, especially because I feel so good about the content that I've been creating. And so if I lose subscribers from that, then that means I'm losing the right subscribers. I'm keeping and gaining the right ones as well. And this Japan trip has really, really affected me in the positive in that way, and I'll explain how now. So I have always been so fascinated with Japanese culture. I just think it's I don't want to call myself a Japanophile. I feel like that word is way too close to the word pedophile. But anyway, so I've always really, really loved Japanese culture. In high school, I think starting middle school, once I discovered anime, I was all in, and that really helped also with my love for art. I started out having kind of an anime style, but anyway, I read a lot of manga, I watched a lot of anime, and I just really, really love the culture. And particularly what I love about it is there's this beautiful, elegant, almost rigid, but I would want to say ritualistic culture that's very traditional and very proper, and has a very kind of strict set of rules. And it's they have this oldness that's beautiful, I think, I guess the tea ceremonies, the kimonos, the pretty much anything outside of Tokyo. I think that's so elegant and beautiful. And then on the other side, there's this like super insane kind of like out there modern culture. Like it's a very technologically advanced culture, although they have been kind of falling behind recently. Like it was really big in the 90s and the 2000s, like Tokyo, but now there's some falling back. Anyway, regardless. And then there's also like, the fashion, the Harajuku culture, and all the lights, and anime in general, like all the designs are just very in your face and very like very out there, very loud, very busy almost, like it's like they're on these like opposite sides of the spectrum. Like one is very elegant and minimal and selective. The other is like, I'm going to put on as many hair clips as I possibly can. I'm going to put on as much pink and as much characters and as much cute things on me as I can. Like, I'm not really going to care that much about design. I just want to, like, be loud in how pink I am and whatever. And I think that's so, so fascinating about Japanese culture. Like, this dichotomy of, like, the two spectrums. I think that's so freaking cool. And so that's one of the reasons why I've always wanted to come here. I wanted to see both sides. I wanted to experience both sides. I think like the balance is so interesting. And I think what's interesting too is like how like extreme the opposite ends are, like how in Western culture, I'm sure we see that too, where there's some traditionalism and some rigidity with society. And then there's some like in your face out there, right? But in Japan, it's like really to the extremes, I feel like. I feel like there's so many more people dressing like Lady Gaga here, like to that extreme, than there are people in the States doing that. Do you know what I mean? Okay, anyway, let's move on. I love Japan. That's the gist. And in high school, I didn't really understand like why I liked it. I mean, I just liked it. I just really liked the dichotomy of it. And as I've been studying more about like the brain and how we think and why we think and do the things we do, like I've just had so much more of an appreciation for this culture, because I understand now that like these kids in Harajuku who are like dressing really like wildly and like really interesting, they're doing it as like this severe form of expression, self-expression, because they do live in a culture that's very like, it is rigid, not in a bad way. I mean, of course there's like good and bad, there's pros and cons to everything, but it's just like, this is their way of being like, fuck you, this is their society, I guess. And still making it like okay for them. And so I just think that's so cool. And it's like this is their way of just being radically who they are, or just radically like not being what somebody else wants them to be, which I just think is really, really, really cool. And I think that is something I've always been fascinated by, because even when I was like in high school, when I was in middle school, I've never really been interested in like fitting in, like, and I don't want to say that in like like I'm so much better than other people, like I'm different, but like I don't know, I wasn't interested in 17 magazine, I wasn't interested in Teen Vogue, like anything that was in those magazines I just wasn't interested in. And then I saw like the goth subculture for the first time, like I saw it on the internet or like from bands or like something, and then I saw a few kids in my who were much older than me, like dressed like goth and punk kind of thing, and I just thought that was so cool. I just thought that was so interesting, and I thought they were so brave for like dressing that way, dressing differently. And but I never like really felt like I was brave enough to go fully until Avril Lavigne came out. When Avril Lavigne became popular, it made me feel like I'm okay to be a tomboy or whatever. But so I was like that in middle school. I dressed kind of like Avril Lavigne tomboyish, and then like as I got more comfortable, I went more and more goth. But I never like, first of all, I still didn't understand why I liked it. And I just thought like, oh wow, I thought these people were really cool, right? And then like I had a lot of self-loathing at that age. So I wanted to dress this way because I thought if other people thought I was cool, because I thought people who dressed like goths were cool, then maybe I will like myself. Well, as you know, it doesn't work like that. I didn't like myself, and when people made fun of me for dressing, you know, different, um, I really took it to heart, and it was like not a good time. So anyway, like I kind of just feel like because of this trip, that part of me that like really loves weird shit in the way in clothing and in the way I express myself, like in my appearance, is like kind of reawakened, which is such a crazy, amazing like feeling where I kind of feel like I'm about to explode because I've been repressing myself for so long. And this is why I have this newfound appreciation of Japanese culture, because it's like these kids who are dressed like all crazy and Harajuku kind of, I'm sure there's more to it. There's a lot of like branches of kawaii, and there's a lot more than just the Harajuku style that's like really like out there. But still, like, it's like these kids who are dressing really like out of the norm so that they can do this like major self-expression in a very rigid culture. It just really reminds me of like I'm not repressed by some culture, but I have repressed myself for so long, and now that I'm understanding the mind work, it's like, oh shit, that is really cool. And I guess like it kind of feels like now that I'm learning how to not hold myself back anymore, I feel like more and more comfortable to like be really what it is that I like, dress the way I like, and pretty much be whoever I like. And so when I see things like losing subscribers, yes, at first I feel fear, but then afterwards, like, it's not so bad. It's just a feeling of like, okay, that's all right. I'm going to be who I want to be. If people want to unsubscribe, that's totally cool. And then also when I see comments saying things like, hey, like, I like what you're doing now, but I really like the way you were before. Oh, that totally fires me up personally. It's like, oh yeah. Okay, well, we'll see. Like, I'm gonna be who I want to be, and we'll just see how it goes. And if you don't like it, that's totally cool. So yeah, this trip has really opened my eyes up to that. It just reminded me of like my middle school, high school self that like really wanted to try and be exactly the way I am and like the things that I liked, but then I kind of just got myself got in my own way. And so it's just interesting to see like me at an individual level kind of discovering this and then seeing it paralleled with a culture that is doing it at more of like a bigger cultural scale, right? Like I was repressing myself. Japanese culture has like their own that has like repression at a national scale, I guess. So yeah, I really love Japan, and I think it's just really beautiful, and everything about it. Like, and even this whole like repression thing, like it's neither good nor bad to me. Like, to me it's like a lot of people will say like, okay, but then like look at all the bad things because of it, right? Like they're like it's the highest suicide rate, all this kind of stuff. And yeah, of course that's heartbreaking, and of course we want to work on that, but at the same time, like it created, I think, like one of the most beautiful things as well, like which is like this crazy out of this world Harajuku fashion, and like the idea of like standing up for who you are regardless of what people think, of what society tells you, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, um so what I'm trying to say is like if you guys ever find yourself like, losing followers, losing subscribers or whatever, when you put yourself out there, when you're taking a risk, like, first of all, fucking good on you, okay? Like, my hat's off to you. That was two claps. I just did a clap. Yeah. Anyway, next, I really want to talk about my social anxiety that says it's my last day now in Japan. Tomorrow I leave, and I have some things that I want to update you on because last week I talked all about how everything was improving. I think everything was great, right? Well, it's really funny when, right after I pretty much, like the day after I recorded that, it took a turn for the worse. So I'm about to tell you all about that right now. And okay, so um, I still am like, I feel like I don't feel scared at all now to say hi to people. Like actually starting conversation is like easy peasy to me now because, like I said, I've done the mind work. It's there. It's everything. If they don't want to talk to me, or if they are not interested in saying something, or and I'm not going up to everyone being like, hi, 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 but it's more like if I'm somewhere, like if I'm in the common room, I used to be really scared. I used to be just, put my headphones in and just like look at my phone and kind of pretend like I don't care. I pretend that I'm not interested in talking when I actually do. When I actually do want to make a connection, when I actually want to talk to people about their travels and ask them how they're doing, where they stayed, recommendations. Um, but now, like, if I'm in a common room and there's a group of people, um, it's really not a big deal now for me to just go up and be like, hey guys, I'm Katie. What's your name? Where are you from? Uh, because most people are really, really social. Most people really like to be talked to. And then I know now that if people aren't interested in talking, if they are rude or they're just like not in the mood to talk, it all has to do with them, and then I'll leave them alone or whatever. But like, it all has to do with them. It has nothing to do with me. So I don't need to make it mean anything about me. Okay, so initiating conversation, a-okay, check mark there. But now within conversation, that's a whole other ball game. And I think it's funny, like all this mind work, it's a lot like what's that game? Like whack-a-mole, right? Like one comes up, you hit it. I think you kind of like figure it out. You've developed some good new habits from those thoughts, and you're like, all right, cool, I got that covered. And then another one comes up where you have to deal with. And for me, it was like being within conversation. So I'm able to talk to people, but once I'm in the conversation, I have a lot of anxiety still. And I have the anxiety because I have thoughts like, I need to be interesting. I need to give this people like a reason to keep talking to me. I need to like look really happy and smiley so that people will walk away thinking how that I'm such a warm person, that I'm um, fun to talk to. You know what I'm saying? Like I have all these like kind of fears about the the conversation that's happening at the time. So like the other last week, pretty much right after I recorded the last podcast, I met these three girls. Two of them were traveling together. One of them was just somebody I met, another person we met. And it was very educational. um, so I feel like I don't make girlfriends very easily. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know why, but I feel like I don't make girlfriends very easily. So when I do talk to girls in particular, I feel like I get scared quicker because I feel like generally I have more things in common with the average guy. Like I watch anime, I play video games, I don't read like fashion magazines. I don't know, but just in general, I feel like I have more in common with the average male, right? And so when I'm talking to girls, I get nervous very quickly because I really want to be friends with them, but I feel like I don't know. Anyway, so I met these girls, and the three of them, right? They just met as well. They were bonding over how much they didn't like Japan. They were just talking about how everyone here is sad, like they can't talk to each other, that it's really hard to meet people here, that they don't smile at people, like they didn't like how it's too polite here, it's so quiet here, nobody talks, all that kind of stuff, you know, like they were really bonding about how much they were not enjoying their trip. And as you guys know, I fucking loved it here, and I felt like people were smiling at me all the time. Like I don't know. I was having a great time here. I mean, yes, I noticed like the issues, just like I would notice the issues in any other culture. Yes, I noticed, like, the whole maid cafe thing is a little weird. Like, I mean, there's some, I don't know, again, like there's pros and cons to everything. But anyway, so they were bonding and stuff, and I was feeling kind of like, fuck, I like need to stay connected. I like don't want to be alone in this. And, like, I remember when one of the girls first said to me, like, I really feel like you can't meet anybody here. And nobody smiles. Like, and I was like, in my head, about to say, what are you talking about? Like, people smile at me all the time. And then I also wanted to say, like, you just, yeah, yes, they're a bit more like reserved here, or they're a little bit more they stick to themselves. It's just like a cultural thing. You just need to try, like, you just need to talk a little bit, like, like learn like some basic, like, good morning, good evenings, and they would appreciate that. Like, they're social creatures too, like, I wanted to say that, but I held back, and instead I agreed. Like, I became very agreeable, and I and I was just really not proud of myself. Like, and then most of the entire night, I kind of like just kept agreeing with them, like, I really wanted to feel connected. And I just kept like chiming in, I guess, into like talking shit about Japan and the culture and all that kind of stuff. And then at one point, one of the girls said, yeah, I really don't think I'll ever come back. And I was like about to agree. And then in my head, I was like, wait, what? I'm definitely coming back. Like, as soon as I can. I definitely will come to Kyoto. I'll definitely go see all the other regions. Like, and I want to stay here I'm thinking about living here. Like, I want to live here. And then after that, I was kind of just quiet. Like, yeah. And eventually, when I went up to my room, I was so disappointed in myself. Like, I was really, really hard on myself. I was like, wow, what you're willing to be somebody you don't like just so that you don't be alone. So yeah, I guess that's what I'm really struggling with. It's like, okay, like, I'm able to talk to people now, but then I also have this underlying belief that, like, if I'm alone, I'm a loser. So I can talk to people, but then I'm also like very anxious about when I talk to people, because I'm like, I need to make sure that this person is like my best friend in the next 10 minutes, or else, like, if they don't want to keep talking to me, that means I'm a loser, or that means I'm unlikable, that means I'm unlovable, all this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, and so I was just really disappointed in myself that night. I was kind of beating myself up. It was not nice, but I did a model on it, and yeah, it's very insightful, like, I think the circumstance I put was, let me see, let's find it. Yeah, okay, so the circumstance is, I am alone, but there are people in the room. So I have a thought, like, I would rather mold myself into someone I didn't like so that I would fit in. And that feeling I get is desperation. And so then the actions that I take is I talk way too fucking much. I agree on everything. Like, I'm just being so agreeable. And then I talk badly about either people or places or things. And then I'm seeking a lot of praise, I think. Like, I'm saying things thinking that they're going to be like, oh, wow, that's great of you, or whatever. And then the ultimate result is I don't like myself and I'm alone. So then I did another model, as you guys know I always do, is an intentional one this time. So the circumstance again is the same. I'm alone, but there are people in the room. And then my thought that I would rather have is I don't have to be anyone but me and my opinions. Maybe this just isn't the crowd for me, and I know I can find my exact right people by being exactly who I am. I don't have to smile huge so they like me better. I don't need to try so hard. And then that feeling instead makes me feel relieved. And the actions that I take when I feel relieved is I initiate conversation, but that's it. I'm not trying to like be entertaining. I listen more and I talk about what I love. I think that's the biggest one that I love is that I end up talking about the things I love rather than talking about the things I hate or like lie about the things I hate, I guess. And then the ultimate result when I think that way is that I find my people. I find the exact people that I'm meant to like hang out with kind of thing, you know? Like, yeah, so that was really eye-opening. It's, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And so now I feel like I've learned a lot from it. I feel like I've relaxed a lot more. I mean, I'm still working on it for sure. I'm trying not to be like worried about being entertaining or leaving an impression where like people really like me or whatever. I don't know, but I just want to relax. It just feels like this social anxiety thing. It really feels like I've just been obsessed with people, you know? Like it feels like people have been so much on my mind and I just want to like relax about it. Like I want to enjoy others. I don't want to be obsessed with them. So, yeah, I mean, fuck man, like I'm really really glad I took this trip. I've learned so much. On the night that I was beating myself up though, I was not thinking this way, you know? So, like it happens, you know, beating yourself up and all that kind of stuff, but it goes away and as long as you can learn from it, like it changes everything. So yeah, like I was having reservations, of course, about coming on this trip. Like, can I really afford it? Like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Even though I can't pay off everything. But damn, this was the best trip of my life, and I don't regret it one bit. And yeah, I've just learned so much, and I just feel really grateful. So yeah, I think that's everything. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for everyone that's on the Discord channel. Thank you to everyone who's still here, even though I am doing my own thing now. And I'm really, 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 really thankful that you are listening to this right now. So I really hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.